For one final time in 2025, the Fuel Grand National Series drivers take their talents to South Beach for the 11th and final race of Season 7. Hi, hello, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Live from the Homestead-Miami Speedway in Homestead, Florida, it's the Don't Be Scared, It's Just Zach Rogers 100. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A pleasant and blustery good evening to everybody tuning in to tonight's live coverage of Fuel Grand National Series coverage here on the North American Sim Racing Network, live from Homestead-Miami. My name is Trey Wright, joined alongside once again by the Colonel Caleb Rose. And Caleb, for the final time here in both 2025 and in season number 7, we're going to go racing here as we've got drivers on top of one another. We've already got ourselves in store a great race here tonight at Homestead.
Yeah, definitely. Homestead is definitely quite the fun racetrack, and definitely should see some fun racing here tonight, and definitely going to be a lot of fun.
Definitely is going to be a lot of fun as Connor Edwards will spin that 0-2 machine around. Doesn't quite do a 900 degrees as Alex Ovechkin, speaking of Bauer, Alex Ovechkin just scored his 900th career goal. That just came across on my phone. That's ice hockey. This is NASCAR. There's a look at Nicky Conti's number 85 Hot Topic machine. And with just a couple of moments to go here in practice, again, Homestead-Miami, the future home of the finale for the NASCAR Cup Series. It was the finale, the whole site for the NASCAR Cup Series finale up until 2020. Phoenix took over for 5 years, but I think everybody can agree that this is a much better venue here down in South Beach, Florida, an exact 1.5 mile replica of the old Atlanta Motor Speedway. While not going to quite get Atlanta 92 here tonight, we're going to get some similar racing here as the champions have been locked up. The only thing that is on the line here tonight, Caleb, just the dub.
And like I said, that could definitely lead to some very fun racing tonight. Homestead's definitely quite the fun racetrack. It's definitely usually plays out to a lot of multi-groove racing. Of course, probably quickest way around this track is probably ripping the outside wall Kyle Larson style, but you can run pretty much all the way around this racetrack in whatever lane you choose. So definitely make for some very interesting racing, both in that regard, and of course you got the strategy and everything to worry about that could be in play tonight. Should definitely be quite interesting here tonight.
Definitely will be interesting. Tab in and out for a brief moment there. We got a minute to go here in practice. With Zach Rogers, no surprise to see him top of the board, and he is not on track. Actually, there's a number 88 machine back out track there in that number 88 Red Bull Chevrolet Camaro. The only thing he's got to worry about tonight is trying to get his 300th career win in NR2003, but he has got the championship locked up for season number 7. Taking a look at the point standings over on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, Rogers with a 217-point lead over Vincenzo Focusato coming into tonight has mathematically clinched the championship. The storylines we'll be focusing on are the other drivers towards the tail end of the field right now. Got some drivers battling for the top 5 finish in the point standings for season 7 at least, and then for the cumulative point standings, Vincenzo Focusato has won the overall 2025 championship in that Momo number 37 with Apollo Hyde. Missing quite a few races here this season that allowed a 37 car to check back in and win this championship over the 100 of Hyde. Hyde is back on the server here tonight as there's Crystal Bennett going around there in car number 84. Got a couple of seconds to go before we'll get into qualifying. There's a look at Jelaine Sims. One of the 3 different winners we have had this season. Of course, this season has been dominated pretty much end to end by Zach Rogers. Has got 8 wins on the season so far. Crystal Bennett and Jelaine Sims accounting for the other 2. There's a look at Tyler Stallhood and that baby driver, number 7 machine. And we're going to get qualifying started up here. Right here and
Drivers,
right now.
to your cars.
Got a brief encoding overload there, so we're going to fix that here on the fly during qualifying. But Caleb, it has been a wonderful season so far. You jumped in, I think, the third race of this season, and ever since then, it has just been banger after banger so far in Season 7.
Yeah, definitely. It has been a lot of fun to be up here in these races, and these races themselves have been absolute blasts as well. Like you mentioned, the season may have been pretty much about dominated by Zach Rogers, but still, race by race, it's been an absolute blast. And honestly, kind of a journey to see who will wind up in victory lane. But yeah, still got one more race here up for grabs. And while Zach Rogers has already clinched the championship, he does still have something to fight for here tonight. So yeah, it could definitely make things quite interesting.
Definitely is. We've got a ton. I don't know why we got a ton of bots in the chat right now, but nonetheless, I don't know why I've got a bunch of stuff redacted in the chat right now, but nonetheless, qualifying getting underway here tonight. And like you said, it's been a whale of a season so far, and it's been a really dominant season so far, of course, with Zach Rogers. That storyline we have been following all season long with what he has been able to do so far in this 7th season of Fuel Competition, clinching the championship a race early, dominating the last couple of races, got 2 wins in a row at St. Felician and Pikes Peak last week, or St. Felician last week and Pikes Peak 2 weeks ago. Broken up. Talladega, that was won by Crystal Bennett. Zach got the win at Las Vegas, and then Jelaine Sims got the win at Mid-Ohio, but the other 5 races prior to that, it was all Zach Rogers from Darlington to Chicago. But it has been a great season, some new faces, some old faces. Coming on here, we'll have 13 cars on track here tonight with about a minute to go in qualifying. Zach Rogers, Jelaine Sims, no surprise to see the 2 Team Velocity entries. Top of the board right now, RJ Bishop and Apollo Hyde, 3rd and 4th. Drew Fast rounding out the top 5 right now, the 12 cars that have taken a lap here. But tonight is going to be all about tire conservation. You take a look at the race analysis, and you take a look at that tire fall off. About 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds of tire fall off. This track, it's not quite as abrasive as 2005 Charlotte and 2008 Indianapolis. But when you're racing at these high loads on this progressive banking between 18 and 20 degrees, you're going to see a lot of tire fall off, especially the closer you run to that outside wall. You're going to see a lot of tire wear, and with the fuel run being about 33 to 35 laps, when you getting onto the pit lane on the back straightaway, I believe the pit entrance to the back is on the back straightaway. I could be wrong, but overall, just got to conserve your tire wear, and you got to be very careful about getting onto a very tricky pit road to get on here at Homestead. As we take a look at the track itself, a little bit oblong shape, much like the pre-1997 version of the Atlanta Motor Speedway was. So RJ Bishop will take off the pit lane, as the helicopter will also take off from the pit lane. We'll get back up into the sky. But again, a perfect shaped racetrack here tonight, as we'll take a look at the qualifying results here. It's Zach Rogers, who is on the pole position with Jelaine Sims starting on the outside. That might be advantage to Sims right now, as Rogers was the only driver to put down a sub-30-second lap on his queue time. Bishop, Hyde, and Stallhood will round out the top 5. Fast, Warren, Focusato, Durbin, and Conti will round out the top 10. Trechtogger and Connor Edwards were the last 2 drivers to put down a lap. Tate Dorsey. I didn't even see Tate Dorsey on here just yet. A little bit surprising to see Tate Dorsey on the stream, and hopefully, that might screw up the ticker just a little bit. We might have to, I don't think I've got a 66 in the system, Caleb, so we might have to do something about that. But nonetheless, Tate Dorsey come in here late. Crystal Bennett and Corbin Wentz will round out the 15-car field here tonight. About 3 minutes of happy hour, so we're going to quickly go ahead and make sure got everything ready to go. It's been a really, really, really solid season so far. And Caleb, what are your expectations for tonight's race?
Like I was kind of talking about, definitely expecting quite the fun race here tonight. Like I said, these guys are probably going to be ripping about all lanes around here, and like you were kind of touching on the tire fall off, could definitely see a lot of it here tonight, especially with a lot of these guys probably opting to run a little bit higher on the racetrack. But that should definitely play. There'll be a lot of factors here in tonight's race to watch out for, and definitely could make for quite the showing here tonight to close out what has been a spectacular season here in the Field Grand National Series.
Definitely could. Definitely could. So we get some stuff ready to go here. Finally getting that number 66 graphic in here just in the lick of time. With about, I got 2 minutes to go here in happy hour just to make sure that our ticker looks nice and orderly. Trying to make sure that we've also got the stream nice and orderly here as well. Again, we've got some stuff mucking up a little bit here technologically wise because we've been fiddling with the stream settings over the last couple of weeks, and we've been doing our best to try and get things going. Of course, right now we're pushing about 2,200 kilobytes per second, but trying to get everything going here with about just a couple of moments remaining in happy hour. Drew Fast right now, top of the board. About $1.18 to go here in happy hour before we'll get things underway here for tonight's race. Zach Rogers coming down the pit lane here in that 88. There's Apollo Hine. Glad to see her back in the car in that number 100 machine. After missing a lot of this season with a lot of scheduling conflicts, of course, had a couple of scheduling conflicts myself, but gonna get things rocking and rolling here for happy hour in the final race of the season. You know, and there could be a lot of shakeups in the point standings. Just because this championship is decided doesn't mean that there's not more storylines to talk about, Caleb. I feel like we're better than Jordan Bianchi in terms of finding storylines for an 11-race season here for NR2003 Online. There's a look at Tate Dorsey in that number 66 machine. First time we're seeing that 66 car all season long, if I'm not mistaken. Been out here for quite some time. Finished third of the Daytona race back in July with about just a couple of moments to go here in happy hour. Zach Rogers sitting on the pole position, trying to get that 300th career win in NR 2003 here tonight, looking to set a milestone. Win number 100 came in the first season of Fuel 2 years ago here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Win number 200 was season 1 last year at Bristol and NR. Trying to get win number 300 here tonight is the Bulldog.
Drivers,
trying to cap off what has been a great championship season so far for Zach Rogers. Look to put the icing on the cake with a W here tonight. Once again, looking at your starting lineup. Zach Rogers and Jelaine Sims. Row number 1. Row 2, RJ Bishop and Apollo Hyde. Tyler Stolhood and Drew Fast in row number 3. Blake Warren and Vincenzo Focasato in row 4. Ike Durbin and Nicky Conti in row number 5. "15 cars on the grid here for tonight's contest. Send it downstairs, trackside for the most famous words in motorsports, for the start of the season finale for Season 7 here at Homestead."
Drivers, start your engines.
15 motors, motor to life, here on the pit lane of Homestead-Miami Speedway. And we're getting ready to rock and roll for one final time here tonight for the Don't Be Scared, It's Just Zach Rogers 100. Sponsored, of course, by the man himself, Zach Rogers in the 88. Team Velocity sweeping the front row here this evening, RJ Bishop and Apollo Hyde. Row number 2, like we said, Tyler Stallhood looking for another podium finish in that baby driver Subaru. Drew Fast, same thing for him. So field will all roll off. A little bit of a slow start there for Trek Togger right off of the grid. But down the back straightaway, Caleb, who's your pick to win here tonight?
Well, he's sponsoring the event. He won the pole, and he's got quite the milestone on the line. I think I'm going to take the Bulldog here. Zach Rogers getting his 300th win. Got that 100th milestone here at this very racetrack. He'll nab number 300 right here once again.
I think he's got a good case for it. Chevy Camaro pace car will head off of the pit lane for the final time this season. The Bulldog, Zach Rogers, and the champion will lead the field to the green flag, and the season finale is live from Homestead.
One final boogity, for now at least.
Just about 3 wide off of the corner, and Jelaine Sims will utilize the outside lane to take the race lead away from her mentor, now trying to fight back on the inside lane. We got trouble in the back. It's Drew Fast around. Single car spin for right now. And no caution, and that is another tough start to the race for Drew Fast. Qualified inside the top 5, was running in 6th. The back end just simply stepped out from underneath that 4 car, and that is a tough break to start things off for Fast here tonight.
And definitely not the start that Drew Fast was looking for. Like you mentioned, had a really good starting position here inside of the top 5, and that's an unfortunate break for him, but still got a long ways left to go in this race. Still has the opportunity to maybe turn some things around if the cards fall right, but we're already seeing a lot of shuffling, especially up here at the front, as now RJ Bishop goes to the race leading that number 28. Jelaine Sims fired off really well on the start of that race. Of course, like I mentioned pre-race, the track can usually see a lot of multi-groove racing, but that outside lane is definitely where you're going to want to be if you want to set some of the quicker lap times. But RJ Bishop moving, maybe migrating down to the bottom, and it seems to be working out for him for now as he's trying to pull away there from the 06 of Jelaine Sims. Zach Rogers, not necessarily probably the start that he wanted, falling down to the 3rd position.
Yeah, Rogers, I think he's just conserving his tire wear just a little bit here right off of the start, as Sims will go on the attack on the back end of that 28, trying to stay in line on the back end of that throwback machine. And you can hear the tires screaming as the cars go up this progressive banking. 18 degrees down at the bottom end of the corner near the apron, and 20 degrees right up at the top. That's why it's so advantageous to ride around the top. Do the Kyle Larson line. Here at a track like Homestead, Tyler Stallhood trying to do the slide job onto Zach Rogers. Rogers with a crossover move as Stallhood nearly got into the outside wall. Once again, another good save out of that baby driver Subaru. The fight is on, and now Rogers make that Stallhood going from the Larson line to the Ross Chastain line, and he's up into the retaining wall once again. He'll fall away from the top 3. And now it's a 3-way battle for the race lead here in the opening stages of this 67-lap event here. And now Jelaine Sims in the outside wall. So these drivers now, right at the beginning of this race, testing their limits to see where they can run and how high they can go up into the outside wall. Apollo Hyde has tracked back a little bit there in the 100, but is now starting to reel in the 7 just a little bit. And RJ Bishop has now got a rear view mirror full of the 88 of Zach Rogers, who's closing in fast on this race lead.
I think Rogers kind of just hung back a little bit there on the start, maybe conserved his stuff a little bit, and it definitely seems to be working out for him now as he's up into second, trying to close in there to the 28 of R.J. Bishop. Stallhood in the 7 is falling back a little bit. Don't know where Jelaine Sims went.
I think Jelaine may have fallen out of the server
May
because
have
I saw
fallen
her
out.
blink.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And that is, if that is the case, that's going to be a tough break for Jelaine Sims. And yeah, receive throughput fell to an unacceptable level. So
Rogers into the outside wall.
yeah, so Rogers, the Bulldog, finding the outside wall just a little bit there, but that was just a very unfortunate situation there for Sims. But it does give third to Tyler Stallhood. And back in here, just outside of the top 5, a really good battle for 5th right now between the two Millennium Autosport Mazdas of Ike Durbin and Focusato. Focusato is going to scream around the 86 machine on the outside lane. And now the battle is on for the race lead. Here's Rogers to the inside of the 28. We go on board with R.J. Bishop as we take you around for a lap here around the Homestead-Miami Speedway, and Rogers looking to slide up in front of the 28. R.J. is going to carry a lot of speed off the corner. Here he comes to the inside. Drag race on the crossover move, but Rogers now has the preferred line up high. RJ trying to send it down into the corner, and he's going to take the race lead back away. And now here comes Rogers with a big head of steam down the front straightaway here to begin lap number 11.
That 28 was fishtailing coming out of turn number 4, and now we're side by side again as Rogers takes the inside, trying to slide up, and will do exactly the opposite of what Bishop did to him there through turn 4. Pretty much did the same thing. As now Rogers takes the lead. Bishop looking to try and get the lead back as he takes a peek down to the inside. Not quite going to get there just yet. Rogers kind of ran middle of the racetrack there, was able to get enough of a run to hold him off for the time being. Seeing a lot of these guys testing their limits here in the early stage of this race. I've already seen a couple guys get into that outside wall, but honestly, that's just kind of the nature of this racetrack. Like I said, riding that wall is where the quickest line is. So testing the limits early on, set yourself up well for as we get into the later stages of this race.
Side by side, we continue to run as we saw a peek at Jelaine Sims back out on the racetrack after her internet issues have come back to fruition, and it's Bishop back to the race lead. But you got to think about how much he is eating up his tire wear compared to Zach Rogers, because we know probably the ace in Rogers' sleeve in his entire career has been being a master at conserving tire wear when it matters. So you got to factor that into things as Tyler Stallhood very off the pace out of turn number 2.
Just had an amazing save.
We saw him fishtailing off for the corner as Apollo Hyde will zoom past him to go up inside the podium. We'll take a look at that save later on in the broadcast. We've got more cars coming down the pit lane. Connor Edwards blinking in and out just a little bit there in the 0-2. Jelaine Sims is down the pit lane trying to put on 4 fresh Goodyear tires. We saw Drew Fast down the pit lane. Same thing with Blake Warren. And the top 2 continue to swap the race lead like there are a couple of brokers trading stocks here. It's to begin lap number 15 of the 67 lap distance. Bishop looking to end the season off on a high note. Was looking for that win in the exhibition race at Pensacola as he gets hard into the outside wall. Rogers nearly knocked the door off of him, and he's going to blow by him right now, that 88. Still utilizing that outside lane, trying to carry the run off of the corner is Bishop, but he's not within striking distance to take the race lead back, and Rogers will go back to the point here for his 3rd lap lead of the night, but RJ will not let him by, or will not let him up just yet. And again, we're about midway through the fuel run, about 33 to 35 laps. And this has been a fantastic one to watch so far. These guys running on the razor's edge right now as Bishop once again to the inside of the 88. Rogers will block down low, and Bishop looking for a little bit of drafting help right behind that Red Bull Camaro.
These two have put on an absolute spectacle out here at the front of the field ever since the drop of the green flag. Rogers leads him here at the moment, but Bishop, like you said, not letting that 88 get far away at all, not letting him get comfortable. As now Bishop dives to the inside once again. Rogers stays to the top of the racetrack. See Bishop maybe get alongside her off of turn number 4. Rogers powers it off the outside and stays clear for the time being. Looking further on back, though, you got that 100 of Apollo Hyde slowly but surely maybe closing in to these top two. They've gotten the gap to under a second now.
I wouldn't even say closing slowly but surely. She is right on the back end of that 28 by about maybe 6 car lengths away. Like you said, it's down to less than a second. We're down to car lengths. Although a couple of bobbles there internet-wise. Of course, with Hyde, the Harrisburg native. Some some weather issues in the area, so that could potentially throw a monkey wrench into things. Tyler Stallhood back out on track after pitting. All 14 cars still on track for the time being, and the top 3 single file, relatively all in line with one another as we will begin lap number 20 here in just a couple of moments. But it's been a really good one so far, and Rogers has had to work to try and hold that race lead here. He's got a lot of pressure from R.J. Bishop out back, as Bishop has led 10 laps so far tonight. That was the 7th one that the 88 has led. But now R.J.'s fighting a 2-front war as Apollo Hyde is going to run right on the back end of that 28. Here comes Apollo screaming down the back straightaway in that Mobil 1 Epson Honda. Trying to move to the inside. RJ's going to have to run off of the corner. Looking to slide up. In front of the 28 was Apollo. RJ's trying to thunder to the inside. But up to P2. His last season's champion of Apollo Hyde. And now, can she try and track down Zach Rogers? Trek Togger has a pretty good save out in front of the race leaders. First on the chopping block to be put a lap down. Rogers will go to the high side, trying to get around that Suburban Cowgirl Steakhouse number 60 Camaro. Oh, up the racetrack goes Trek, and he is just going to floor it into the wall. I thought he was nearly going to lose it and tag the quarter panel of the 88. But Rogers will get around that number 60 machine with ease. Same thing with Hyde and Bishop. Another good save off of the corner there from that 60 Camaro. Connor Edwards currently 4 laps down after coming down the pit lane a couple of times here. Speaking of coming down the pit lane, I thought we were going to see the opening set of pit stops based on how low the 100 and the 28 were running. Tate Dorsey is down the pit lane in the 66. That's pretty much everybody right now. Jelaine Sims 15 laps down now, and that is such a tough break for Jelaine. It really is, Caleb.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough because a lot of times it's completely out of your control, so that's definitely gut-wrenching there for the 06 of Jelaine Sims. Started off the race really well there, but like I said, unfortunately, factors came in out of their control, and that's definitely a very tough break for them. But it's still been a fantastic race here so far, especially up here for the lead, as now Rogers has pulled away a little bit there from the 28 of R.J. Bishop, but now he's got a new car in the mirrors, and that's the 100 of Apollo Hyde.
New competitive there for Rogers, who will immediately go up to the Larson line. Playing the low line there was Hyde, and they're side by side down the front straightaway, right at the stripe. It's in Rogers' favor. But here comes Hyde, who has bided her time a ton right now in that 100. Again, both of these drivers, veterans of the Fuel Racing League Series. And they're right now next to one another. Hyde loving that low line, but with that low line comes a lot of rear end instability. So you're running right on the ragged edge the lower you go in that Accord. Nearly up into the outside wall, just bobble a little bit. And losing just a couple hairs of a second there on the back end of the 88 will show once again mount the counterattack, and R.J. Bishop just trying to watch behind these drivers. We go on board with the 28.
Back down to the insider through 3 and 4. Rogers continuing to run the middle. Kind of a good mix with the two lines. Hyde able to just barely get to the quarter panel there as they head off of 4, but Rogers got enough of a run there to clear as they head down the front straightaway. Hyde back down to the insider through 1 and 2, and like I was talking about earlier on, seeing a lot of multi-groove racing here in play right now as Apollo right now pretty much hugging that white line. Rogers choosing to kind of go around the middle of the racetrack, and that's just what makes this racetrack so much fun. And it is really, really fun here so far tonight here from Homestead.
Racing at Homestead is always very, very fun as Hyde trying to draw even on that quarter panel with the 88. Trying to drive in on the inside lane, but Rogers very, very strong on the outside in that Camaro. I think, oh, did RJ also fall out? I think he did.
Oh, no, he's down the pit lane.
Oh, he did. He's on the pit. Okay, good save. Good save out of you. Because I had a heart attack and thought we had another driver falling out of the server. So Bishop will come down the pit lane on lap number 28 and Hyde once again on the back end of the 88.
Even with Bishop there coming down the pit lane, we still have a fantastic battle up here for the race lead. And also up here to potentially throw a wrench into things, you got the 0-2 of Connor Edwards, who's already come down the pit lane. That 0-2 definitely has a lot fresher tires here than our top two and has closed the gap quite significantly here. And we'll have to see what that 0-2 car decides to do. But, man, they are going at it up here for the race lead. Apollo High trying to do everything they can to get past this 88 of Zach Rogers, but Zach Rogers not moving ever so easily. We got the unstoppable force versus the immovable object up here right now for this race lead.
We pretty much do as we go on the rear bumper of Rogers. Down the back straightaway, looking back at Apollo Hyde. Looking at the side view mirror there on that 88, you see the 100 tracking up the racetrack, trying to draw even with that 88. They're still side by side screaming down the front straightaway. And in the favor of the 88 of Rogers. Still on top of one another. Tantalizingly close. And Hyde is not giving up a single inch right now in that 100 as they're still side by side. Two of the very best drivers in the NR2003 scene right now. Rogers a little bit of a bobble off the corner, not enough for the 100 to take advantage of. We'll see if this tire strategy is going to work. Hyde a little bit hungry going in through the corner, not quite able to force it down there. Seeing where the 28 is falling back. Crystal Bennett coming off of the pit lane. We're going to see if these two drivers are going to do a full lap here. Oh, a very big bobble out of the 100. I'm not sure if Apollo wanted to come down the pit lane that last time by.
Oh, switching it up.
So now Rogers will go the inside lane and Hyde will go to the outside. And that did not work for Apollo whatsoever. Not able to carry a whole lot of speed. Rogers will be up to the largest lead we have had so far.
Another one around in turn 2. It's got the Ford Drew fast.
Fast around once again. And Apollo Hyde will come down the pit lane here in the 100 on lap number 33.
After staying out on the racetrack once again, Hyde looking maybe pull a bit of an undercut here. And what's definitely going to make this quite interesting is you have the 28 of RJ Bishop, who pitted a couple laps earlier. So we'll have to see where Bishop comes out in all this as well.
Bishop is ahead of Focusado right now. Bishop right now, last time by, being scored in 28th. And now here comes Rogers down the pit lane.
Here we go.
So here we go, lap number 34, past the midway point in tonight's race. And Rogers cutting this race in half. Ike Durbin will make his only pit stop of the night. Same thing with Vincenzo Focusado. And I really don't know about that strategy for Bishop because, yeah, fresh tires are going to mean a lot here, but I don't think they're going to be to quite the degree that they would be at a track like Darlington. So Bishop is going to have to try and baby the throttle a lot. And now Connor Edwards spinning on the front straightaway in a 0-2. Single car spin takes that Bauer car out of the way. He's able to get it back up and rolling. And we're watching Apollo Hyde just now coming off of turn number 2. Rather, turn number 4, I should say. Rogers grabbing his gears. Here comes a very steep 100 machine.
Has
a lot of boatload of steam. Same thing with Tyler Stallhood. Stallhood will get around the 88. Does the 100 have enough time to try and get around that 88? I think Zach Rogers, very tight out of the corner there was Stallhood. Very loose, I should say. Nearly chopped the front end off of that 100.
Zach Rogers looks like he's going to hold that spot here for now, but I'll tell you what, with that extreme undercut, thanks to the 28 of RJ Bishop that's out front right now by about 7 seconds to the 88 of Zach Rogers, but he is on older tires, so I have to see how quickly these guys behind him run him down. We'll see what Rogers can do here on this lap around, and he's already gained a couple tenths, so these guys are going to be flying for these next couple laps.
He definitely is, and again, Bishop came down on lap number 28. The max these guys can do is about 28 or about 35 laps, so that puts him to 63, 4 laps short. If he babies the throttle, trying to push in the clutch here just a little bit, he might be able to stretch it.
It's definitely a lot to save, though.
It's a very bold strategy there for Bishop, I'll tell you that much. Coming around 30 laps to go.
Definitely not going to make it easier when that 88 and 100 is closing in fast.
Yeah, and this is going to be a real good battle between this Red Bull Camaro and this Mobil 1 Honda. Not been able to steer away from one another all night long. Bishop doing a good job utilizing the outside lane, allowing the momentum to carry the car. And looking at his SMT, not quite pushing in the clutch just yet. He might have to start doing it here because he's got a 6-second lead over Rogers that last time by, but Rogers immediately knocking another 10th off of here.
He's got the clutch in.
Now he's punching in the clutch. He knows that he's trying to make this strategy work. He's going to try to punch in the clutch maybe every other set of corners would be my guess. Fastest lap of the race. No surprise to see it belonging to RJ Bishop, a 30.482 second time here. Not sure why.
Oh, Crystal! Hold on to it.
Really, really good save there out of Crystal Bennett.
Wow.
Bennett making the save as we got the laps to go. Marker up, and RJ hard in the outside wall, and Blake Warren spinning around down the front straightaway. Warren debuting that new scheme for 2026. Hard into the outside wall, and now Hyde trying to go underneath the 88. These two in a pretty big dogfight right now. They're still on top of one another. And they backed off of the 28 for the time being. Jelaine Sims nearly backing up into the 28. Bishop had to get out of the gas. That helped his tire wear, or his strategy just a little bit there. But again, I'm really not sure if he is going to be able to make this battle stick here, Caleb, because this is going to be coming down to the wire. And especially with Zach Rogers, who pitted past the midway point in the race. He is good to the last drop. So he is going to be flogging it. He's already down about a half a second for the last time we checked on the pylon. So he is gunning that Camaro right now, while Bishop is babying it.
Yeah, we definitely know that Rogers and Hyde are good to go to the end, and probably then some. So these guys are pretty much got the gas pedals to the floor, and Bishop is just trying to do everything he can to baby the car here around this racetrack, trying to save the fuel, trying to save the tires as much as he possibly can. This is definitely going to be really interesting up here at the front of this field. I can definitely tell you that. Rogers is closing in really, really fast. He's actually pulled away a little bit from the 100 of Apollo High, but we saw in the early stages of this race, Hyde kind of lay back a little bit, saved a lot of their tires, and really put the pedal to the metal in the late stages of that run. So I wonder if that's maybe happening once again. But starting to approach 20 laps to go, and the gap, like,
under 5 seconds.
4.5 seconds.
It's going to be about 4.5 seconds here. But so before we get to that gap, for the final time this season, we're going to go downstairs, and we'll go downstairs for a snap-on race break. Field here. Presented by Fram. Had a little bit of a freeze there on the stream. So R.J. Bishop in the race lead right now in the number 28. Drew Fast currently a couple of laps down. He is 4 laps down in 12th as he's trying to get around the race leader of R.J. Bishop. Jelaine Sims runs in 9th. Good recovery for her, who is now 2 laps down in the 0-6. So a really good recovery there for Sims. Blake Warren runs in 13th. Second is Zach Rogers, currently still 4.5 seconds back of the race lead. Apollo Hyde runs in 3rd. Tate Dorsey in 7th down the pit lane once again. Connor Edwards is 14th. Tyler Stallhood is in 8th. Trek Togger 10th. Vincenzo Focasato right now in 4th. Crystal Bennett is 11th. Ike Durbin rounds out the top 5. Nikki Conti in 6th. And that will do it here for our final through the field segment of the 2025 and of season number 7 here of the Fuel Racing League. Once again, in case anybody else is just tuning in, we'd like to welcome everybody to tonight's coverage. Don't be scared. It's just Zach Rogers 100, and if that's somebody that RJ Bishop is scared about right now, it's Rogers, who is continuing to close in, but that gap has stagnated just a little bit here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Trey Wright and Caleb Rose on the call to bring you the final 21 laps of season number 7 of the Fuel Racing League's Grand National Division here at Homestead. It's been a caution-free affair so far, all 14 cars still on track. It has been a great one to watch, and it's going to be a nail-biter at the end here, Caleb, as it always is.
Certainly. It's been a fun race here to cap off what has been an incredible season, and this is definitely going to get interesting here in these final 20 laps as we got RJ Bishop trying to hold on to this race lead. Like we were talking about, that gap between himself and Zach Rogers has kind of stagnated a little bit. Actually, a couple of laps ago, I think it grew a little bit there, but starting to come down just a little bit once again. Rogers definitely isn't closing as fast as he was a couple of laps ago, so Bishop picking up the pace just a little bit there in that number 28, but still the question is, can he make it to the end? He pitted quite early, so needs to save quite a bit of fuel if he does want to make it, but still got 18 laps to go, and while it has slowed down a little bit, that 88 of Rogers is still closing, and we've seen just how crazy this race has been here so far. 28 just needs to keep it off the wall and make sure he can get that thing to the end.
Still a 4.2 second advantage there for Bishop. But again, he came down a lap number 28 in the 28 machine. The most these guys can do is about 35 laps, which is going to put him 4 laps short as of right now. Like we said, he might be able to punch in the clutch just a little bit here. But I got a feeling that it's a very big gamble. You know, you're trading in fuel certainty for track position. You know, and that gap right now, it is on last time by, and it's now under 4 seconds. And you can hear that 28 machine punching in the clutch every time through every corner. Blake Warren, the lap down car, gonna scream by on the outside of that 28. And I can imagine with him punching in the clutch as much as he is right now, you know, we're gonna see that 28 and the 88 and the 100 in the same frame as one another. Yeah, they're just about in the same frame. Off of turns 1 and 2. They're on the same straightaway. Bishop gets into the outside wall with 15 laps to go. Again, you hear how silent that 28 machine is. He is punching in the clutch. He is saving as much gas as he can. I tell you what, if RJ is able to hold this off, pull off both the math and hold off the Bulldog, that might be the most impressive win of the season. of all 11 races we have seen so far. We've seen some really impressive wins. Stallhood nearly knocking down the outside retaining wall, nearly knocking down the 28's right side fender. But with 15 laps to go, time right now in favor of Rogers, who's continuing to reel in that 28. They're now within the same frame of one another, down the same half straightaway. Final 15 laps of the fuel season. And this is once again going to be a great one to the end as Togger into the outside wall, nearly spun that 66 Camaro around. And how about the recovery for Jelaine Sims, who's 6 laps down instead of 15. But a really, really good recovery there for Sims. And now Rogers. No cars separating the 28 from the 88. Like Caleb, like we said, the name of this race is Don't Be Scared. It's just Zach Rogers. Just Don't Be Scared. It's just Zach Rogers 100. I think if there's anybody that is scared of Zach Rogers right now, it's the driver, that number 28 Ford, with 13 laps to go. Oh, he's in the outside wall once again. He's in the wall. He is way into the wall. Is RJ Bishop. He's going to spin around, and nearly collecting him was the 88. That might have been a tire. Is that enough to bring the caution out? No, it is not. Tyler Stallhood spinning down the pit lane.
Oh, man.
I think that might have been more of a tire issue there for Bishop, as he was right in the outside wall like there was no tomorrow. And now we've got another fight for the race lead as Hyde and Rogers will toss the gloves aside, and they're going to knock some knucks.
This is not over up here for the race lead, as now Apollo Hyde trying to take the battle to the 88 of Zach Rogers. Just got the 06 of Jelaine Sims up in here. Gonna pass these two, probably with some fresher tires there underneath that Velocity Racing Chevrolet, but it is on up here for the race lead. Coming to 10 laps to go this time by. Such a tough break there for the 28 of RJ Bishop, but just with how early he pitted, it was definitely going to take a lot of nursing to get that car around. Unfortunately, just didn't quite work out for him. So a really tough break there for RJ Bishop, but this race is still far from over, as now Apollo Hyde and Zach Rogers going to be going at it for this race win. Here comes Hyde to the inside. Rogers sticks it up high. This is going to be a final 10 laps to remember as
Durbin into the outside wall. We've had a lot of single car incidents here tonight, but no multis. Stallhood will get around the two race leaders. And again, we mentioned it during the Talladega broadcast. We're going to mention it here several times tonight. Bishop back down the pit lane. I believe it might have been a speeding penalty.
Oh, man.
So a bad last couple of laps will get worse. And with 10 laps to go, the fight is on. But back to Stallhood for a brief moment. Again, the amount of work that he puts into this league cannot be underestimated, cannot be undersold, could be the correct word. And we just want to give a big shout out to Stallhood. It's his 7th season of fuel competition will come to a close here with 8 laps to go in the 2025 season. Gonna go at the Fuel Sportsman Series. That'll return here after the winter break, and we might have some super speedway action here in the off season that might come to fruition here on the North American Sim Racing Network. Of course, we're mostly locked and loaded for the 2026 season here on the NASRN. Some more details TBD. But right now, 2026 still a couple of months away. We've got 7 laps to go in the 2025 season. And what has been a great race here at Homestead. Gamble did not pay off for RJ Bishop. And again, something that I don't want to go undersold is that Zach Rogers nearly plowed into that spinning 28 machine. Went up high and Lightning McQueen to the crap out of that wreck avoidance. And he's got a decent car length lead over the 100 of Hyde coming up on lap traffic. You got Drew Fast, you got Blake Warren. I think Warren will be the most likely car to go a lap down with 6 laps to go at Homestead. Nicky Conti right now running in 4th. How about Tate Dorsey? Trying to see where Tate is on track. How about Tate Dorsey running top 5 right now in that 66 machine? Really good job. Crystal Bennett up into the outside wall, getting a couple of stripes. And right now running in third, 20 seconds back of the race leaders is that number 37 machine. 5, count 'em, 5 laps to go in the 2025 season. And 5 laps away from an incredible milestone here tonight if he can hold off Apollo Hyde. Warren down to the inside of the 4 of Drew Fast. Fast, who started this race inside the top 5, spun around on lap number 2, has been battling rear end issues all evening long. With 4 laps to go, Rogers will catch up to the stricken 4 machine. Strechtogger has caught up to the 100 off of the lead lap, trying to gain a lap back here. 4 laps to go from South Beach.
What a race this has been. Like I said, to cap off what has been a remarkable season here in the Fuel Grand National Series. Like I said, he has capped off last week with a championship trophy. He's looking for something potentially even bigger here tonight, as he is just 3 laps away this time by from getting his 300th NR win. That is an absolutely insane milestone there for Zach Rogers, and what a way to do it too in a race that he has been pretty much dominated here tonight, and started from the pole. And like I said pre-race, it's in his very own event, so having 2 laps to go this time by, Rogers trying to pull away, and it's Bulldog has looked unstoppable here tonight.
He's looked very unstoppable so far, past the point of no return here. Blake Warren on the inside lane, trying to get around the 0-6. Sticks high in the air, 2 laps to go. Jelaine Sims will pull to the inside, will let her Team Velocity teammate pull away with a lap and 3/4 to go here in the 2025 season of Fuel competition. Lap and a half to go as the field goes down the back straightaway for the penultimate time. Rogers getting around the lap traffic. Nicky Conti goes up the racetrack 3 wide behind the race leader. White flag is in the air one more time around the Homestead-Miami Speedway for the Bulldog. It's the bell lap for the Bulldog. 3/4 of a way from notching a huge milestone. Came into tonight with 9 wins on the 2025 season. On season 7, I should say.
Don't be scared. It's just number 300 for Zach Rogers.
Got his 100th career win at this track a couple of years ago, and off turns 3 and 4, win number 300 for the Bulldog. Zach Rogers wins the season finale at Homestead. And he had to earn that one as Zach Rogers getting it done here in his own sponsored event here tonight. Jelaine Sims will give her mentor a bump of love after that one and win number 300 for one of the most dominant names in NR2003 online, especially here in the Fuel Racing League. And a great performance here this evening. Capping off a championship season, and Zach Rogers gonna burn it down right on the front straightaway. What a performance, what a race, a caution-free race at that, Caleb.
What a race this was to close out the season, and hopefully was caution-free. Definitely had a lot going on in between the lines, but just, man, what a race here tonight from the Homestead-Miami Speedway. This track is always just so much fun, and tonight absolutely delivered on that. And in the end, Zach Rogers holds on and gets milestone win number 300, like I said, in the race that he is sponsoring. Kind of poetic in a way there, but man, what a race, what a season, what a win for Zach Rogers.
Definitely was a great win here tonight for Zach Rogers, and it looked to be in a little bit of jeopardy. He did lead the most laps, but it was RJ Bishop who led the second most amount of laps. Only 3 lead changes here tonight between Rogers, Bishop, and Jelaine Sims. Led a couple at the start of this race here tonight. But we're not quite done yet with everything here just yet here tonight. So there we go. We got everything situated there. But we're going to get into our post-race interviews here in just a couple of moments. But Zach Rogers, Apollo Hyde, Vincenzo Focusato, your podium finishers. And how about Focusato? He was the only car other than Apollo Hyde to finish this race on the lead lap. And you want to talk about dominance there from Rogers and Hyde. Those two duking it out with one another. And a great race here tonight for both of these drivers. We'll get the post-race interviews set here in just a couple of moments. But nonetheless, Zach Rogers, and we're also, Zach Rogers wins the race. We'll also review some of the more prevalent accidents we had here in just a couple of moments. But we'll step aside here as we get things situated. And we'll get the post-race interviews queued up here after an incredible win here tonight. Zach Rogers with another milestone victory here for his 9th win of the season here in Fuel Grand National Season 7. We'll be back here in just a couple of moments. We're back here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway getting ready for our post-race coverage. Here after an incredible race at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Before we'll get our post-race interviews. Caleb, what was that on lap number, what do we say that was? Lap number 8, I'd say?
Probably, yeah, sometime around then. We gauge.
I think it might have been lap number 13. Oh, yeah. Ho, wow. Oh, mama. Yeah, because I didn't see this live. Wow. You want to talk about an incredible save? Oh, my Lord. I might have to go ahead. I got to take another look at this in TV2 here real quick because that was impressive. That was probably the most impressive save that I have probably ever seen. And from the 7 of Tyler Stallhood, the amount of saves that he has, really good saves he has had so far this season. Get a good look. Goodness gracious. He was able to save that 7 machine down the front straightaway as well, or the back straightaway as well. And then the big storyline in this race here. Take a couple of looks at this accident. So this all got started in turn number 1. With RJ Bishop going hard into the outside wall. Spun that 28 machine around, and oh, barely any daylight there for Zach Rogers to squeak through. And we got to do an onboard with the champion here tonight. We'll do helmet cam for this. Hold on to your hats, folks. Actually, we'll do hood cam. Just barely able to squeak through Days of Thunder style and get the job done here after all of that. Those were probably the biggest incidents we had so far here tonight. We'll get things situated here for the post-race interviews. Starting the third place driver here in just a couple of moments as we get things situated off, but another fantastic end to just what has been a fantastic season of fuel competition so far this season, Caleb, and that was a really, really competitive race and a really fun race for us to call up in the booth here.
It definitely, like I said, saw a lot going on there in that race, whether for the lead or throughout the field, and there was a lot of drivers up there competing for the race lead. You had RJ Bishop, you had Apollo Hyde up there as well. Just such a fun race there from start to finish, and like I said, a lot of storylines. We have already crowned the champion, but still a lot of storylines brewing coming in, and finished off a big one here tonight with Zach Rogers, like I said, nabbing his 300th win. A huge milestone there, and just, like I said, incredible fashion as well. Just what a season this has been. This has been so much fun here, and I'm really happy to have been given the opportunity to get up here and call these races. It has been so much fun.
It definitely has. We're going to get into our post-race interviews here.
User was moved to your channel.
Starting with the number 37, the driver of the number 37, Momo Mazda, Vincenzo Focasato, your overall 2025 champion. You got a copy of us here in the broadcast booth?
I got you, Trey.
Well, you certainly had an eventful race right from the get-go where you nearly ran over the 4 of Drew Fast, who was spinning right in front of you, and you're able to battle your way all the way up to a nice third-place finish here tonight. Homestead always puts on a whale of a show, and it definitely did not disappoint here this evening.
Oh boy, Homestead's a track I've always wanted to go caution-free. I don't remember offhand, honestly, if I've ever done that before, but it's one of the mother of all tire-saving tracks, so we usually get pretty caution-sparse races, and I live for them, and to have 0 was just really, really fun. Kudos to everyone for all racing so cleanly tonight, and everybody who started made it home to the finish. It was very nerve-wracking because that car was way less in control than it probably looked, but I brute forced the thing to going straight for 67 laps and made it home in one piece, so had a good time doing it.
It definitely was, and hey, being able to brute force everything into being able to put it in a third place finish here after everything you've gone through so far in 2025, you know, going back to last season, your battle with Apollo Hyde, of Hyde beating you out there for the championship in season 6, and then in season number 7 here coming into this afternoon, you were able, coming into tonight, you have locked up the championship. We'll give you a second to give your champion speech a little bit later on in the interview, but all the adversity that you've gone through in that battle with Hyde and now battling a lot so far this season, just how have you been able to really battle back from everything?
To be honest, that's not... I'm going to have a hard time answering that question because I don't really... I'm not trying to dismiss your question. I just haven't really looked at that from that perspective. I kind of just try to stick to the mindset that this year was an anomalously successful year in terms of results. This is not like me. To have such a high average finish over so many races, it's really not like me. My first online start was 2016, and I'm usually swinging all over the place between the midfield and the rear. So I don't really feel like it's my place to go take wins and go take titles anyway. Whenever I happen to do that, it's awesome, and I'll take them. But I don't know. I've spent so many years just having a good time, trying to see how good I can do, seeing how close to the front half of the field I can finish. That's kind of still my mindset, even though this year's turned out even better than the 8 previous. So um, I'm still just showing up, trying to stay clean, trying not to hit walls, not to hit cars, and see where I'm at the checkered flag. And yeah, it makes for a wonderful time. I hope I didn't lose track of the question again. I think that's it, though.
I mean, just having fun in this racing league is all. It's really all about here. You know, in the Fuel Racing League, just how tight knit and how relaxed but serious we're able to take things here, and you being able to get the job done. Caleb, you got anything for our second place or our third place finish here tonight?
Well, definitely have to say that was quite the race and quite the season, honestly. Like you, John, you able to bring home quite the amount of good finishes here this season, and with that, you were able to lock up the overall championship here for this season. So, a major congratulations there on that front, and definitely have to congratulate you. Quite a lot going on, but through all the chaos, you were able to keep that car pointed in the right direction and kept it going. Finish in the third position and on the lead lap. It's only one of 3 cars in this race finish on the lead lap. So definitely have to give you major props here, both in this race and in the season. Really good job, my man. Huge congratulations are in order for you.
Yeah, it means a ton. Thank you so much. Like you said, the fact that it was caution free on paper does not mean it was uneventful. and and like Trey said, it's I mean, it's a little sim racing game. We love race cars. We love the chance to sort of um, sort of pretend to live out our dreams with the opportunity that this technology gives us, and it's all about having fun. You add good people to the mix, and it just makes for a great time. So I had a blast all season long. But yeah, thank you both.
Definitely a treat to have you, and we'll give you the floor for as long as you want to shout anybody out and give your champion speech here for as the overall champion for 2025. The floor is yours for as long as you want, my man. You earned this.
Appreciate it, Trey. I definitely have nothing prepared at all in the way of a speech. So I guess what I really just need to do is to thank everybody for, like I said, we're all kind of just uh, living our dreams in a little tiny way by doing doing these sim races by we're playing pretend race car driver. It's a more advanced state now that we're adults from the little diecast cars that we all played with as kids, but we're still doing the same thing, and we would not have been able to without Tyler and Apollo and Ike giving us a place to do this, running the show. They put a lot of time into this, a lot of effort. They lend an ear to us all year long for feedback and for help making things better for us. Um, the time and effort they put into this is not lost on me, and it's very much appreciated. So thank you to those 3. Thank you too for bringing the action to us. It's been a lot of fun to get to share some of the fun times we're having with my friends and with my family who wouldn't get the chance to otherwise. So thank you too for um, bringing an air of such professionalism to these broadcasts and for making it entertaining for my friends and family to watch. And thank you to everyone else on the track who raced me, whether it was in 1 race or 33. You all, you all, I mean, shoot, if it weren't for you, I'd be on track by myself. That'd be no fun. That'd be no race.
That'd be running qualifying times.
Yeah, exactly. That's only fun for 2 laps. But seriously, everybody gives 100%, but also gives me the respect to um, not put me out doing it, not to overstep it and take me with them. It's such a thin line, and you really need strong trust in everyone around you that they're going to give it their all while still racing you with the utmost respect. And that's all I've gotten from everyone here all year long. So, um, yeah, between admins, broadcasters, and drivers, I guess that's everybody. This was this was my favorite year of NR. I said it's my 9th, and I am looking forward to the next one. This was a great time, and I can't wait for February. Thank you all.
February is going to be one whale of a show here, and hopefully we'll see all 4 Millennium Autosport cars back on track at the same time. Definitely a blast to see you guys whipping it around here. But Vincenzo, congratulations on a 3rd place finish and officially taken the championship here, the overall championship for 2025, and we'll see you in February, my man. Have a good one.
You betcha. You guys have a good one too. Thank you both.
User was moved out of your channel.
That was Vincenzo Focusato, driver of the number 37 Momo Mazda for Millennium Autosport. And we got to go all the way back here to find the runner-up driver from tonight's race.
Forward to it
Moved to
too.
your channel.
Driver of the number 100, Mobile One Epson Honda. There's Apollo Hyde. You got a copy of us here in the broadcast booth?
I sure do, Trey.
Well, it's certainly refreshing to have you finally back here in the booth after quite a few races, and glad to see you giving Zach Rogers a really good run for his money all night long. But Homestead, we were talking about it with Vincenzo on the previous broadcast. Homestead is the ultimate tire conservation track, and it is just a perfect track when it comes to flat-out racing. And how was the racing here tonight, in your opinion? Really, really good. It was really fun for Caleb and I to really watch here tonight.
Yeah, I think this really just shows the magic of Homestead, where you can have two people with two completely different setup philosophies and two completely different lines as to how they run the racetrack. Like, Zach was up against the wall for most of his runs, and I was right down on the paint for most of my run. And it was really cool that we finished pretty much within 1 second of each other over a 34-lap run. It just shows you that the track is really balanced, whether if you want to set up for low or set up for high. You definitely do need to set up for whatever line you want to stick to. You pretty much want to pick a line, stick to it. And I've always had success at this track, staying towards the bottom of it, because I really like the grip that you can find on the paint line down there. If you can hook it the right way, you can kind of get a little bit of a speed boost, and that's what I try to aim for. But yeah, this was just a classic Homestead tire conservation race. It's what we saw in the first stint, where Zach and RJ and Tyler kind of took off on me by about 2 seconds. And by the end of the run, I was right there with them. And then on the second run, there really wasn't a pace difference between me and Zach. So we ended up basically the same. So that's pretty much how it ends up at these tire saving races. And yeah, Zach did one hell of a job up there.
He definitely did, but you were right behind him in lockstep, and you guys were battling for second right as RJ Bishop went in the outside wall, and Caleb and I thought it may have been a blowout based on how that 28 machine spun around. But in that moment, how much did you guys realize, hey, we got to get to the go, and we got to try and battle this out here?
That really never crossed my mind. The only thing that really crossed my mind was I need to make sure that I don't collect RJ while he's spinning, and he stayed well out of my groove. It messed up Zach a lot more than it messed up me. And I also knew that since Zach and I were pretty much running the same pace there, that he was probably going to take off on me in the final 5 or 6 laps or so in the run, because my car was set up probably too tight for this race. But yeah, that really wasn't on my mind at all, that RJ was even leading. I didn't even know RJ was leading, to be quite honest with you. I knew that the battle was between me and Zach, and that's how I focused on it.
Yeah, and you guys, like you said, you were battling a little bit of a tight race car, but you're able to really get the job done here tonight. And 2025, definitely a year to remember here in the Fuel Racing League. And, it's 2026 is going to be really tough to top it. But what are you and Tyler really cooking up here for 2026 that we can know about it here in advance?
Well, of course, we've got the Fuel Sportsman schedule announced and released as of last week. And we've got a ton of really awesome tracks coming up there for next season. Of course, we're going to have Pirates Motorsport Park out there. We're going to have Rockingham come back to the schedule. Myrtle Beach is coming. Sears Point's going to be coming. IRP is going to be coming. Chicagoland's going to be coming. And of course, all of the tracks that we had really good races in the past couple of seasons, they're all coming back. Like Charlotte's coming back. Las Vegas is obviously coming back. Hillside coming back. Old Spice, all the fan favorites. They're all returning. So I could say that Sportsman's looking like a really excellent schedule for next year. I don't know if the GNS schedule is finalized at this point, but I have full confidence that Tyler Stallhood will put together an excellent group of tracks, just like we did this season.
Definitely did. A very diverse amount of tracks here in this season 7, and just in 2025 in general. But you got anything, Caleb, for our second place finish here tonight for a beautifully run race, caution free race, and a really entertaining race here at Homestead?
Yeah, that was definitely a very, very fun race here tonight here from the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Definitely got to give you a lot of props there for that, Rod. You were pretty much about on the tail of Zach Rogers pretty much throughout that entire race, and gave us a really good battle there for the race lead, and still a fantastic showing here today. And just a fantastic showing pretty much all season long, and definitely looking forward to seeing what next season we'll have in the store. Definitely looking forward to it. Going to be a lot of fun, and I just thank you for a fantastic season and everything you and Tyler do here.
Yeah, I thank you guys for broadcasting it, and as long as we keep racing, I hope that you guys keep coming back and showing the world what we can do. I think that we have excellent racing here at Fuel, and hey, if a couple people are watching the stream want to show up and race with us, you can go ahead and join our Discord server and get you signed up. We take anybody from any skill category. Honestly, we've had people that have made their first ever NR online start with us, so we welcome anybody that wants to race and have some fun with us on Wednesday, Friday nights.
Definitely
We
do.
got to
Link.
get into something.
This is Wednesday and Friday nights. Fridays, if you're very, very new to NR, that's the Sportsman Series. That's fixed setup. So if you're new, everybody's running the same setup. So if you're new, I highly recommend Apollo Series for the Sportsman Series on Friday nights. Those are a blast. A little bit more technical is the Grand National Series, which runs open setup. But either one, everybody is so very, very open here in the Fuel Racing League. If you need any help, there's literally a channel in our Discord server that's labeled Setup Help right underneath Grand National Series. It's a very open league, and we're all about having fun. We're all about professionally broadcasting it, but also having fun here. And just once again, like we said, link is down in the Discord server below. We'll probably mention that right at the end of the broadcast again. But Apollo, for the final time this season, we'll give you the floor to thank anybody you want here before we'll let you out of Dodge here, and we'll see you in February.
Well, yeah, I definitely like to thank, of course, the sponsors on for this season being Epson, Mobile One, Fruit Bat Factory, TIU, them all being on the car for a majority of both the Sportsman and the GNS season has been awesome. This is the last race that we're going to be bringing the Honda Civic out. Next year, Honda's switching over to the Prelude. So we are definitely excited to see what the Prelude will do for GNS come 2026. And yeah, we'll see what comes with Sportsman as well. But we don't necessarily have we don't have our stuff finalized for Sportsman yet at Marvelous Racing, but we're definitely looking forward to what Honda's able to produce next year.
Well, it's going to be fun. 2025 was a blast. You were able to win a couple championships, and you were able to batten down the hatches here for 2025 and 2026 just on the horizon here in a couple of months. It's going to be another hell of a season. Well, congratulations to you on a runner-up finish here tonight, and good luck in the off-season. Silly season is upon us, like you said. And we'll see you in February here in just a couple months.
Hell yeah.
User was moved out of your channel.
That was Apollo Hyde, driver of the number 100 Mobile One Honda Accord, Honda Civic for Marvelous Racing. Before we get into our championship interview, we'll do one more interview here before we'll get into things, and that is our overall rookie of the season, driver of the number 12 Dutch Boy Ford Mustang. Blake Warren, got a copy of us here in the broadcast booth?
Yes, I do. Hello, gentlemen.
Well, it has certainly been a trying 2025 season for you across your first season of Fuel Grand National Competition, your first year in Fuel Grand National Competition, I should say. 3-season veteran, but you're able to be the overall rookie of the year here for 2025. And again, you've been through quite a lot over these last couple of seasons so far, my man.
Well, I mean, as the way that it goes, it's not just 3 seasons, it's a whole calendar year. I came into the season right at the very beginning for season 5 in February, and oh, lordy, lordy, 33 weeks of racing up for grabs, and I ran the majority of it. I think I only missed like 4 events, most likely. So, yeah, it's a lot. Oh boy.
It definitely is a lot, but fortunately it is spread out over week after week, and it is split up into three 11 race schedules. But you've been around the NR community for the last couple of years. You ran in the IMRC. I think you might have done a couple things in Hobo. I could be very wrong on that, but you've been around here for a while. What makes Fuel different and more challenging than any other leagues here in NR Online?
So, I think the way that it goes is actually come 2026, roughly. No, pretty sure it is definitely 2026. This will be my 10th year in doing NR 2003 online. So I've been here a long time. Not always running every single race, not always running every single league, running private leagues and stuff like that. But yeah, I've been here a long time, just very shrouded in where I've been. Um, I think the way that it generally goes is that most of the leagues that I've run in are fixed setup, and NNSCRA at one point did do a string of open setup races, and I think the biggest challenge is, and you can definitely see how it can go, when someone like Zach Rogers has just the setup, they're pretty much unbeatable. Um, I think overall, at least as to how Fuel is run, and it has more to do with the people, uh, everyone is willing to help as best they can. People, and I got to give props to Tyler on this because he's been a very big help to me in regards to this very up and down season. Um, there's a certain sense of reassurance that even if you're like finishing fifth or something like that, and you're nowhere near getting to win races or so, just the reassurance that, hey, look, like you're actually getting faster, you're doing better, this, and this, or you're getting into less accidents or anything like that. Like just the whole entire aspect of it, it's genuinely and genuinely the people. If you're fast, if you're fair, if you're not a jerk, people are willing to rally around and help you. And I think that that's just really good. There's a lot of people, for how broad this game is, that either they have had no experience in open setups, or they're seasoned veterans in open setups, so they know what they're doing. But people are willing to help one another if you ask and if you're of good heart. And that is kind of how some of this went. I'll also give a small nod just for how long I've been in the community. I've made a lot of good friends. So even outside of Fuel, people have been willing to help me as best they can, even over the last few years. And yeah, it just finally kind of all accumulated here in Fuel. Didn't get a win, but I definitely could feel at certain points, hey, we're getting a little bit faster. We're getting a little bit stronger. um, rally around more people, and maybe we can be able to get like top threes or so. And you guys have, by the way, you guys have done such a great job with broadcasting. I really hope y'all come back. Y'all I loved seeing everything about it.
Well, it definitely we wouldn't be here for as long as we have since July, the very beginning. I think, or the tail end of June. I think we're closing in on 5 months broadcast and Fuel, and it has just been nothing but good things here. And we're definitely planning on coming back here for 2026, broadcasting the majority of the races. But speaking of 2026, you'll be officially a sophomore driver. Going into the 2026 season, what are your expectations for next season? Also, we got a little bit of a sneak preview of what your primary paint scheme will look here in 2026, of course, switching over from the 8 to the 12 and from Chevrolet to Ford. What are your expectations here for next year for the next 3 seasons of Fuel competition?
Well, the biggest thing is that Corbin Wentz and I have come to agree to a partnership. I saw that Corbin was having some issues with like keeping his car underneath him, but he seems like he was trying with his best of ability to do the best he could to stay out of people's way and uh, kind of to an extent maybe needed a little bit of mentorship. So Corbin and I have formed up and we have created Warren Wentz Racing. So his team of I think it's eFuel Esports or something like that. My apologies, Corbin. He and I have joined up, so we're gonna combine our teams together to make one team. We've got RJ Bishop, who's coming on as our third driver. We do have a fourth spot open. We were trying to coin a couple of people, but they did not respond. So if you would like a kind of up and group of positive individuals, please reach out to me. And then as a B team, although unfortunately he did not show up tonight because of other life stuff going on, in the same line of thinking, we set up a B team called War Horse Racing, and that will have Connor Edwards, that will have Lucas Kennedy, and that will have my brother, Grant Warren, potentially make some part-time starts next year. I've been in the ownership role every now and then for a few years now in other leagues, and I've always looked at people like, hey, you're pretty fast, but you just need a little bit of support. I don't want, similar to how I was talking about Tyler earlier, I don't want anyone coming into this feeling like they are neglected or otherized by anything. So I'm trying to create like a hand out there to help people feel supported. And in turn, just even running this season, I've I've had such a good time racing against Vincenzo, uh, and his personality is so on point and works well with me. We've actually come into an agreement with Millennium Autosport to get R&D setup support with them. So it is going to be their Mazda team helping our Ford team, which, funny enough, at one point I believe Ford owned the Mazda Corporation for a little while. So we're going to have essentially 8 or 9 people all working together to try and build all of us up. We all know that we're fast. We all are racing against one another in about the same area. Rising seas raise all ships, I think, as they say. To me, that is the expectation. We're not just looking, I'm not looking at it just as myself. I'm looking at it as I want Vincenzo's team to get better. I want our team to get better. I want individual drivers to get better, and I want them to feel happy and supported. So the expectation is best case scenario, we are going to try very, very hard to get in victory lane. But more than anything, we just want to have a lot of fun. And more than anything else, we all want to try to get better.
That's all you can really ask for is just trying to get better and just trying to split everything around. And like you said, silly season is definitely starting to kick into high gear right even before the season ended here. But Caleb Rose, you got anything for our Rookie of the Year here this season?
Definitely have to say that was quite the season, and I gotta congratulate you there on getting Rookie of the Year. And like Trey mentioned, next year going to be the sophomore season. Can't wait to see what that'll have in store. But I wish you nothing but the best of luck going into next season. But as for now, hey, congratulations, props there for winning Rookie of the Year, my man.
Yeah, I definitely gotta say, winning Rookie of the Season was definitely a great thing. But just that little bit of, and I even put a little sticker on my car when it was running there. More than anything, I get to make a little Rookie of the Year sticker now, and that just feels even better.
It definitely does, and you're able to, again, going back to the first race of the season, all the work that you put in for the Darlington throwbacks. So I don't want that to be unsung, but definitely helped out a ton here in your first ever calendar year of Fuel, and you're able to get the job done here by clinching the Rookie of the Year standings here tonight at Homestead. Pleasure talking to you once again, Blake, and we'll see you next year in 2026.
Absolutely. Can't wait for the themed races. And, so long as we got Darlington on the schedule next year, I'm definitely going to try and get sponsored up for that one and make it even better than this year. And this year was pretty solid.
It definitely was. Glad talking to you, man. We'll see you next season.
Thank you so much, guys. Y'all have a wonderful night.
User was moved out of your channel.
That was Blake Warren, driver of the number 12 Dutch Boy Ford Mustang for Warren Racing, your 2025 Rookie of the Season. Rookie of the Year, I should say. And now it's time to talk to the man of the
User was
hour.
moved to your
It's been a
channel.
little bit. Been a week since we talked to this man here. But a big milestone tonight for the driver of the number 88 Team Velocity Red Bull Chevy Camaro. Mr. Zach Rogers, you got a copy of us in the broadcast booth?
User was moved out of your channel. User was moved to your channel.
Let's try that again. Zach, you got a copy of us here in the broadcast booth?
Yeah, I was getting water. I was away from the computer.
All good, my man. But a really great win for you here tonight, and you knew coming into this race that the only thing that was on the line, the championship wasn't on the line. You essentially clinched it up with your belt to rear end pretty much in everybody so far this season, but you knew that a big milestone was on the line here tonight, getting your 300th win, and you were able to do it in dominating but also dramatic fashion. First and foremost, congratulations on getting to the 300 club here in NR 2003 online.
Yeah, thank you.
So, again, Homestead, it is a tire conservation race, which, again, plays right into your wheelhouse, and it's always a really fun race to watch, especially when it goes caution-free like it did here tonight. You going into that opening run, you had some competition from both RJ Bishop and Tyler Stallhood, and were you really just kind of conserving your tires right in that opening run before that first set of pit stops?
Oh, yeah. I was conserving out the gate.
And then
I don't push my stuff just to stay in the lead. I mean, it's really pointless. You know, strategically speaking, you just save your stuff. I was willing to let however many people buy me that it needed to be. I knew I was going to have a chance to get them back at like halfway through the run or so.
And then the back end of that run, definitely coming into play there, especially on that off strategy that RJ had. But when he went up into the wall and kind of wrecked in front of you, what was going through your head when he was coming back up the racetrack? You saw a little bit of daylight right in that little ledge there.
Yeah, well, I was afraid he was going to barely come up and touch me and it was going to be a yellow. I wasn't really worried about getting hit or getting damaged. I was worried about it being a yellow, and I'm glad I missed him and there was no contact. He was going to have to pit in like 2 laps. I don't know why he wrecked. I told him too. I was like, why'd you have to wreck it, man? Like, you were going to pit in 2 laps. And he's like, I wasn't trying to. And I was like, but you did. And he's like, screw off. So I like to give RJ a hard time.
We all do, and that's gonna be a really, really fun alignment that he's got with Blake Ward and Corbin Wentz next season, with silly season coming up into fruition here. But more on the big picture, you said in the Discord server, you got your 100th career win at this track in Season 0, your 200th win at Bristol, and your 300th win on an NR 2003 online, all here at Fuel. Has it really speak to just how open this league has been and how much you've been able to really dominate over your entire NR 2003 career, how you've kind of just really been the William Byron of NR 2003 online?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm really the William Byron. I mean, there's been a lot of great drivers that have come and gone on this sim over its 22-year tenure. A lot of those guys are on iRacing now, so they're probably more comparable to a William Byron. I feel like I'm more of like the Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., because those guys would run NR back in the day. I mean, Denny credited this sim to him sweeping Pocono his rookie year. So, I'd say I'm more comparable to guys like that. And, maybe not to that actual talent level. I mean, I'm just sitting here in a chair. I'm not dealing with G-forces or anything like that. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a cool accomplishment. And this was also my 50th win at Fuel, technically 49 between Grand National and Sportsman. But I did get a Fuel Super Speedway win way back in 2016 under old ownership. So technically counts as this being the 50th. So pretty cool. This is the first league I've won 50 races in. Fastest right there with 49. So we'll probably get a 50th win at Fast sometime next year. But in terms of 300, yeah, it's pretty cool. I got to 200, like I said, a year ago, and 100 the year before that. So it's kind of crazy how quickly these wins have kind of just stacked up from just being able to run at a bunch of different places and having success anywhere I go. Very, very grateful and fortunate to be able to race with all the different people I have over the last 2 years.
It definitely has been a really privileged to watch you race in these races, no matter whether it's Fast or Fuel or you being able to be in the broadcast booth with Hobo. You're all over the NR2003 scene, both online and offline. And looking ahead to 2026, you absolutely dominated this season. You won all but the last 2 of the last 13 races you've competed in. You've won 11 of those 13. You've been absolutely kicking tail in here in the back end of 2025. What can we expect from you and Team Velocity in 2026? Because we've seen, obviously, a lot come out of your camp. We've also seen a lot of talent coming out of Jolene Sims's camp. So what are your expectations here for this upcoming year for Team Velocity and yourself?
Yeah, so first off, I would have to check the all-time sheet, but I was looking at the sheet a week ago, and though he hasn't raced here in many seasons, I noticed that I had almost the same win to race percentage as Tyler Mallon did. I think I was like 1.5% behind him. So I'm not sure if that's tied now or if I might be a 0.5% ahead or not. But I've won about 62% of the GNS races I've competed in, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. That's essentially, 2 out of every 3 races. I'm going to victory lane here. Probably more accurate to say every 3 out of 5, but Jolene will be back with Team Velocity next year. She's planning to run full time at this time, but obviously, the new season starts in 3 months, and sometimes things change over 3 months. I remember thinking I was going to run a league full time through the winter of 2023, and then 2024 came around, and I was like, I don't want to run that league full time. I'm running this other league full time. But I'm not saying Jolene will do that, but I'm just saying you never know. Plans change. As for me, I have no intention of racing here full time in the near future again. I've got a lot of other stuff to spend time on next year. And, the competitive side of me just kind of says, while it is fun, I like being at the top of my game fun. So I'm only really putting effort in for one series next year full time, and it will not be over here at Fuel, unfortunately. So, if I've got a free night, maybe I come out and race, but I honestly don't really foresee it, not in the spring or summer at least, maybe in the fall, but one day at a time.
We'll definitely miss your presence here in Fuel, given whatever decision you make. But Caleb, you got anything for our race winner and our champion here for season 7?
Well, definitely had quite the productive last couple of weeks. Got the championship pretty much locked up last week, and then this time around, a huge milestone 300th win, and in quite poetic fashion too. Won the pole, had a fantastic showing here, and won in your very own sponsored race. So quite poetic there, but I just got to give you a huge congratulations both on the championship and the milestone. And no matter what next season might have in store, I hope the best of luck for you and wish you the absolute best of luck. You are definitely probably one of the best drivers that I've ever seen when it comes to it online, and I just wish you nothing but the best of luck, man. Congratulations on a fantastic season here in Fuel.
Thanks, Caleb. Appreciate that.
Well, Zach, you've had maybe about a month and a half to write your championship speech here, but we'll give you the floor to give your championship speech. You want to thank anybody for your sponsorship? You want to shout out anybody here on the NESRN airwaves for the final time in Season 7? The floor is yours, my man.
Yeah, okay. I don't have a speech written, but we'll just wing it. It's whatever.
It's always the best.
First, I got to thank Tyler Stallhood for hosting this league. We essentially worked together and started this thing 2 years ago. And, I did step away from adminship at the beginning of 2024. But, I'm really happy to see all the people Tyler has been able to attract to this league. I might not agree with some of the direction that occurs here and there, but overall, all these people continue to come out and race. So really cool to see a good group of people continuously race here at Fuel. Really warms my heart. LOL. Um, but also want to thank him for the opportunity to sponsor tonight's race. I know that's due in part to the broadcast, but pretty cool to win. Think it was both the races I sponsored, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And this one was really cool too because I love Homestead. As I told you, my 100th win came here back in season 0. I've won on this particular version of Homestead so many times now. I don't know the exact number, but I think it's like gotta be 13, 14 times out of all my Homestead wins. And another little stat fact for those nerds at home, this was my 17th Homestead win on NR2003, and that actually ties the total number of wins I have on the NASCAR layout of Watkins Glen on this game. So those two track layouts are at the top of the list for me on this sim. Personally, I don't know if Homestead BB had never been made. I don't know if I have this many wins at Homestead. This is something with the way the grip lanes and the geometry is that I just really have been able to hone in and figure out, and I've had a lot of success on this layout of the track. So got to thank the creators of Homestead BB. I know there have been small INI changes to this track version that we ran that I did a year ago. And then Apollo has his own special INI that gets run at Sportsman. That is also a total blast. So just got to thank the creators of Homestead BB for, creating something that is a blast to race no matter what the track INI is. And I know a ton of people in the community feel the same. Thank you for broadcasting the season, you and Caleb. I know it's been, a bit of a learning process, but you have been very open to any amount of criticism I've thrown your way, as well as what other people have thrown your way, and you've just continuing to get better. You'll continue to get better, especially with any technological upgrades you get to make that your pocketbook allows. So, just keep striving to put on the best broadcast you can, and just know, like, all those complaints or criticisms, they help you get better. And all you can do is like try to do better, and basically just keep having fun. Like if it starts to feel like a job, then it's no longer fun. So just make sure you're always having fun. um Otherwise you move on to something new. Kind of like that's basically kind of why I'm taking a step back from NR. It's like it's sometimes it's not that fun. So better off to just only run once a week. But I'm getting sidetracked. I got to thank Cody Lamas for all the paint schemes he's done this season. I think we ran 3 schemes, so all really cool paint schemes. He did all my schemes for last year too, for season 3 and season 4 GNS, as well as I think actually Tyler might have done my sportsman cars. I have to check messages for that, but I believe Tyler Salhood has done some schemes for me. He did do schemes for me for season 1. So gotta thank Tyler for doing a little of my paint schemes over the years. Want to give a shout out to Bomb Squad Racing League. That's where I will be next year. They are a great group of guys. They are also open setup. They run Thursday nights for Cup. They also run stuff on Wednesday and Fridays. If you're looking to expand your open setup horizon, they're a great group of guys to run with. They're older guys, not old, but they're older guys compared to like us in our 20s and stuff. But they're very laid back. It's not usually quiet the whole race. Usually there's, some joking around going on and whatnot. They like to have a good time while racing, but, it is still a serious place, and they're not looking for no drama. So if you're looking to avoid any drama, like, that is your place to go. Mistakes still happen, people still run into each other, but that's any league. So, but they're very chill about anything that occurs. So check out Bomb Squad for sure. We've got the um, I'll be running the third annual Danny Hardy Memorial over there Saturday night. I'm running a tribute car for the Hardy family. Hezzy Hardy's a really good friend of mine. Been a good friend of mine for many years now, and I'm very happy to be able to run a tribute scheme for him and his family. It's going to be a purple Racing with Jesus car. So if anyone remembers the old purple Morgan Shepherd 89, it's basically that, but with a number 6 on it, and a little few different sponsors. So looking forward to debuting that scheme at Texas Motor Speedway on Saturday, and it's going to be fun. It's a 50% length race. That'll be like the longest race I've ever run on this game in a good while. So, most leagues typically, like tonight we had 25%, but most leagues typically don't go over like 35%. That's the standard. Usually at Bomb Squad is 35%, but we'll be running a 50% race Saturday. So that'll be crazy. Looking forward to that. Got to do some practice for that tomorrow night. So, I'm going to pull an old quote, old line from my playbook here that I haven't used in a bit. I used to say this all the time at the end of a JTN stream. I'm going to thank my wheel, my pedals, my computer, my gear shifter, my hand-eye coordination for the success that I've had this season. And, always got to remind yourself to be grateful and not take things for granted, because there are some really impressive guys on this sim, that don't have all 4 of their appendages, or they're handicapped in other ways, and they still find a way to be really fast. And I don't know all those guys by name, but I really respect the heck out of those guys for still doing what they can to have fun on this 22-year-old sim. So a shout out to all those guys that might come across this stream. And yeah, last but not least, thank you to all the fuel drivers, Apollo High, Vincenzo Focusato, obviously my teammate Jolene Sims, RJ Bishop, to name a few. Tyler didn't wreck me this season. Thank you, Tyler, for not wrecking me this season. There were some times I got scared, but all worked out. Ike Durbin. I'm going to forget some names here. I'm just kind of naming the ones that come to mind, but yeah, I don't really know if I have anything else. I'm kind of trying to stretch this out because I think Blake was up here for 20 minutes, and I think I deserve 20 minutes maybe, but I don't want to just kind of just say nothing, but yeah, I guess that's all I got.
Definitely the end of the line. You got to bring everything out here, but congratulations on a big win here tonight, a big milestone for you, getting your 300th career win here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, and we'll hopefully see you around next season in 2026, and when you do, everybody better look out, because don't be afraid, it's just Zach Rogers. Don't be scared, I should say, it's just Zach Rogers.
And I do want to give, now that I'm thinking of it, I'll give a more of a special shout out to Apollo Hyde. The gains they've made on their long run racecraft this season truly surprised me. I kind of came into the season thinking, yeah, Apollo, they're good, but like they don't usually do good on the long run, so I won't really have to worry about them. And then like first race of the season at Darlington, I was like, oh crap, Apollo is faster than me on the long run. I got to be careful here. And then every race they've been able to show up to, they've been right there on my bumper, giving me hell. And I really wish they could have been full time, but they had stuff to do, and it's good for them to go do those other things and take a step away from the game here and there. But man, if they were full time, I think we could have had a points battle all the way here to the finish. I don't think I would have clinched this thing a week ago. I'll tell you what.
Definitely would have been a really good battle to the end, but nonetheless, you were absolutely kicking tail out there. Well, Zach, congratulations on getting the win here tonight, getting the championship, and we'll see you next season in 2026, my man.
Maybe.
Around, I should say.
User was moved out of your channel.
That was Zach Rogers, driver on the number 88 Red Bull Chevrolet Camaro for Team Velocity Racing, your winner and your champion of season number 7 of the 2025 Fuel Grand National Series season. And what a race we had here, and what a season we had here. And I think we've had, the interviews have been a little bit longer than the race here, Caleb, but nonetheless, it has been a fantastic breakdown of the season. It has been a fantastic culmination of what has been a fantastic season so far. A fantastic season ending here tonight, I should say.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen some great racing all season long, and it all, like you said, just culminated here tonight, here in the finale, and absolutely delivered a spectacular close to what, like I said, it's been a fantastic season. A very fun race, though, to close everything out. So, like I said, a lot of action here in this one. And like I said, at the end of all of it, a great milestone there for our race winner, Zach Rogers. And yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing what next year will have to offer. But definitely going to be a lot of fun. I could probably safely expect that. What a season it has been. And I can't wait to see what the future has in store.
It's going to be a great season all around as we'll take a look at the top-down results here for tonight's race as Zach Rogers wins the Don't Be Scared. It's Just Zach Rogers 100 here at Homestead-Miami. Apollo Hyde finished in second. Vincenzo Focusata rounded out the podium in third. Nicky Conti finished fourth. RJ Bishop fell down to fifth. Crystal Bennett finished sixth. Tate Dorsey was seventh. Ike Durbin eighth. Tyler Stallhood was ninth. And Blake Warren, your Rookie of the Year for 2025, rounded out the top 10. 11th was Drew Fast. 12th was Jolene Sims. 13th, Track Togger. And 14th, 8 laps down, was number 02 of Connor Edwards. And again, it has been an incredible half year, I should say, of covering Fuel Grand National and just covering Fuel content here. You know, it has been since we were offered the gig back in mid-June, early July. We did the first couple of races. We did the tape-delayed recordings. Finally, we're bouncing into the realm of live streaming, getting things together, getting a new graphics package that we've used for both online and on the offline side of things here on the NASRN. And, of course, bringing you along for the ride, Caleb. I'm so glad that I could have you on for the ride here in 2020, in the back end of 2025. You know, I'm glad you've been able to really take time out of your schedule to come on, give your colorful instincts or colorful insights here to the intricate keys of racing. And we've had a couple of really good moments here this season, and we're going to have a lot of them in 2026. So thank you, man.
All right, thank you so much for having me up here. It's been such a fantastic opportunity to be up here alongside you and call these races. It's just been so much fun. It has been so much fun to be up here and call these races. I've only really started to call online a lot just this year pretty much, but it's been such a ride, and I cannot thank you enough for letting me be up here and call these races alongside you, man. It's been a blast.
It definitely has, and some other shout-outs to go in effect here. First and foremost, Tyler Stallhood and Apollo Hyde for putting this beautiful league together. If you want to race NR 2003, doesn't matter if you're a total novice or a veteran like Zach Rogers and you just want to kick some tail, link for the server down in the description box below. Glad everybody has enjoyed all of these broadcasts. It has been a ton of fun putting these on, and a big thanks to Tyler Stallhood for reaching out saying, hey, do you want to broadcast some of our races? Just broadcast I think we started off by broadcasting the championship race and for Sportsman Season 2, as well as the Daytona race, the 4th of July Daytona race as kind of a one-off thing. Got together, we were like, hey, let's do this, we'll see how the rest of the season goes, and we'll go on from there. And we've produced 12 broadcasts here, 12 live broadcasts for Fuel Season number 7, 11 points-paying races, and a preseason race, a couple of live stuff over on Sportsman. A big thanks and a shout out to Apollo Hyde on those things. Shouting out to everybody for helping us out with the technical difficulties that we've had here a little bit. Obviously, that's on our end. I'm using kind of a potato all-in HP all-in-one PC. As much as I love this thing, as much as it's helped me get my start right now in the business to try and get a replacement. And hey, with all the stuff on here and all the funds that you guys are putting in, definitely puts it towards getting that new PC and being able to make things better and better as they come along. So just want to shout out Zach Rogers, Drew Fast. I think Trek Togger has also been very integral on some of the technical things behind the scenes. Tyler and Apollo as well. A big shout out to all the drivers, for Blake Warren for helping us put on a lot of these special event races. All the drivers that sponsored races: Brendan Whitford, Nicky Conti, Corbin Wentz, Zach Rogers, of course, Tyler Stallhood. I think Crystal Bennett also sponsored a couple of races as well. Dun LaPrade, I think he did one or two. I'll pull it up just so I'm making sure to cover up my ducks here to make sure we get everything. And Nicky Conti with the sponsor, Trek Togger with the Round of Chicago, Paulo Hyde, Corbin Wentz, and Brendan Whitford sponsoring the Desert Derby, Ike Durbin, who has come on here as a fantastic fuel admin for when both Apollo and Tyler are not around. Of course, Brendan Whitford and Zach Rogers and myself for sponsoring pretty much all the races here in season number 7 of Grand National. Of course, big shout out to all the drivers. If like Vincenzo said, if it wasn't for all the drivers in this series, Caleb and I would just be a couple of guys just watching a track, watching dust blow around a track. It's the drivers that put on the really good show here. So shouting out all the drivers on here. Guys who have come on in these last couple of weeks: Connor Edwards, Drew Fast, Jelaine Sims, RJ Bishop, Trek Togger, Nicky Conti, Ike Durbin, some other guys as well. Tala Aziz couldn't make it. Emi Schizzato, who won the Season 7 Rookie of the Year. Kenny Campos, I saw Kenny in the chat earlier on. Tim Gallade Jr., Sierra Cooper. HB Hardy was in here for a couple of races early on. Ian Cooper was here as well. Andrew Estrada, Rich Roy, Trevor Davis, Dun LaPrade. So many people to thank for putting on just a lot of really, really good shows here. Rafaela Sorensen, I can't believe I almost forgot Rafaela Sorensen, Lucas Kennedy as well. There's so many people that make this community what it is. And Caleb, you know that sometimes the toxicity of the NASCAR the NR2003 offline community can get a little bit overbearing sometimes, and it's awesome to find a league where it feels like one big family, where we're all helping each other. We all kind of give each other crap here and there, but overall, we're a big family where it feels like we're just very tight-knit. We all want to have fun. We all want to continue to beat the drum on the greatest NASCAR game and the greatest racing game of the 21st century. I'll die on that hill. But that is going to do it for season number 7 of the Fuel Grand National Series season, and that will do it for the 2025 campaign for the Fuel Grand National Series and for Fuel in general. We might have some off-season stuff right now. We'll be back here in February. We'll go over the schedule here in just a moment as I pull it up, but a big thank you to everybody that has made everything possible so far in 2025 for making everything as great as it's been. I've been rambling on here. We've been doing this for about 2 hours. I think the actual race itself was about 45 minutes. But as of right now, next time we'll see you guys back here, the Fuel Racing League will be on February 4th for the 3rd annual Fuel Clash from the Greenville-Spartanburg Raceway in Greenville, South Carolina. That is going to be a whale of a show coming at you later on in 2026 in the new year. We'll have that. We'll have the 1st annual Fuel Grand National 500 from Daytona a couple of days later. And we'll get the 2026 season and season number 8 started February 18th from the Under Armour Speedway here for Fuel Grand National Season 7 in just a couple of months. For Season 8, I should say, here in just a couple of months. But on behalf of everybody, for Tyler Stallhood, for Apollo Hyde, Zach Rogers, Caleb Rose, everybody at the NASRN, everybody in Fuel, my name is Trey Wright saying so long from the Homestead-Miami Speedway. here for the Fuel Racing League. Congratulations to all the champions from Season 7 and from 2025. And from Homestead, Florida, on behalf of everybody at the Fuel Racing League and the North American Sim Racing Network, I'm Trey Wright, saying so long from South Beach. We'll see you next season for the Fuel Racing League's coverage. The NASRN's coverage of the Fuel Racing League coming at you later on. Thank you all so much for tuning in to tonight's coverage of the Don't Be Scared, It's Just Zach Rogers 100 from Homestead-Miami. And we'll be back here in just a couple of months. Thank you all so much. I've rambled on. Had enough. See you guys in 2026 here after tonight's presentation. Fuel Grand National Series on the North American Sim Racing Network. Have a great night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for making 2025 what it was. Hello, 2026.